First oration is Dr. Malleswara Rao Oration. Now I request Dr. Sudhakar Potti to please come onto the dais. Please give him a big hand. Andhra Pradesh Ophthalmic Society is pleased to award 2021 Malleswara Rao Oration to Dr. Sudhakar Potti. Dr. Sudhakar is, after completing his graduation from Jipmar Pondicherry, he did his post-graduation in the same place. Then he did his fellowship from L.V. Prasad Eye Institute in cornea and anterior segment. After that, he worked as a consultant there, and then he held several leadership positions, and then he moved on to the Sankara Eye Hospital in 2009. Now he is the Chief Medical Officer, and he is a member of the several professional associations, and his main interests are the cataract, refractive surgery, cornea, and community ophthalmology. He has a vast experience over 20 years, and then he has his credit several awards, and he participated in several live surgery sessions, more than 28 peer-reviewed publications. He presented several papers both in the national and then the international fora. He was the recipient of the Best Oragusri Hospital in Guntur in 2021, and then awarded the YSR Oragusri Trust, and then the Best Department Ophthalmology Award by NTR Vaidya Seva Trust, AP Government 2018, Sri Manmadanamma Ugadi Purashkaram in 2015, awarded by the Guntur Kala Darbar Cultural Academy, and several Service Excellence Award from Kanna Rangaya Charitable Trust in 2013, Award of Excellence for completing 1,000 eye camps, awarded by the DMHO Guntur, then Award of Excellence in 2013 in Hospital Administration, Andhra Rekha Samskruti Sudhakala Vedika, and he was the scientific committee member. I had an opportunity to work with him in the first 3 years of the AP Ophthalmic Society, and he has a Vocational Excellence Award from the Rotary Club in 2013 from the Rotary Club Vikas Club, Guntur, from the Guntur Rotary Club Vikas Club. He believes in far more can be achieved if we work as a team. So that shows his leadership abilities. There is no greater joy than to alleviate a fellow human being as suffering. You are what you give. Excellence should be a habit. So these are these beliefs. I think we are very fortunate to be here delivering this great Dr. Malleswara Rao Oration Award. With this introduction, now I invite Dr. Sudhakar Potti to deliver Dr. Malleswara Rao Oration Award 2021. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I can see. Okay. ఇటు ఫేస్ చేయాలి ఇది. అవును. Good morning, everybody. In this 6th APOS conference, dedicated to the Bhishma Pitamaha of Andhra Pradesh Ophthalmology, in this hall dedicated to the affable entrepreneur, Dr. P.L. Rao, it gives me a great honor
to deliver the Malleswara Rao Oration, Dr. Malleswara Rao Oration. Dr. Malleswara Rao was a practitioner in 1962, started his practice in Kakinada, a big time private practitioner who never forgot his roots and did plenty of charity and community work too. He started the first eye bank in Kakinada, and not only did he do the transplantations himself, he would distribute to fellow ophthalmologists. He would distribute the corneas to fellow ophthalmologists so that corneal blindness can be alleviated. I am thankful to the scientific committee chairman, Dr. Gopal Das Garu, and the executive of the APOS headed by Dr. Parnikumar Garu and Secretary Dr. Vishnuvardhan Garu for the opportunity given to me. I stand before this august audience of the members of the Andhra Pradesh Ophthalmic Society. August because we are here as survivors of the corona pandemic that none of us can claim to have seen or experienced before. By the way, it still has not ended. August because we, along with ICU physicians and otorhinolaryngologists, were and still are at the highest risk of catching the disease. August because we have chosen to carry on this noble profession despite the risk to our private lives. Li Wenling, a fellow ophthalmologist from Wuhan, was not so lucky. Not only was he chastised for warning his colleagues, he ultimately succumbed to it. Let us pray in our hearts and pay respect to all the physicians and ophthalmologists who died in the line of duty. Corona was very democratic. Men or women, rich or poor, powerful or meek, nobody was immune. And amidst this raging media and discussions over social media, the raging debates of chloroquine or ivermectin, doxycycline or azithral, favipiravir or remdesivir, and finally Covaxin or Covishield, the undisputed winner in all this was the humble face mask. And let that be a big lesson to all of us in our lifetime that solutions are often simple. Corona has taught us many, many lessons. I am reminded of a Panchatantra poem. Arthamulu nityamulu kavu, yavvanamu dhari vegatulyamu, జీవనము బుద్భుత ప్రాయము కాబట్టి బుద్ధిమంతుడు సత్వరముగా ధర్మము సమాచరించవలెను. Life can be very short and unpredictable. As men and women of science and evidence-based medicine, we possibly do not know what is there in the afterlife. So what will make this life, the only life that we know and are 100% sure of, more meaningful? Life becomes meaningful when one is joyful. And joy can come in various ways, small or big. It can be a small mirth, laughing at a good joke, rapturous, listening to a divine song, or savoring a delectable dish. But true, meaningful, and lasting joy comes from a job well done, from lending a helping hand and giving solace to worried minds. In the search of the meaning of life, I came across this very first verse of the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. The Gita starts with this, with Dhritarashtra asking, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. He's asking Sanjaya. And just these first two phrases alone is the essence of the Gita and essence of what is life. Because in Sanskrit grammar, if you know, you can interchange words within the same sentence. And the very first sentence of Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre can be paraphrased as Kshetre Kshetre Dharmam Kuru, which means wherever you are, whichever position you are in, you do your duty to the best of your ability, and that is your dharma. So we are truly blessed as ophthalmologists in this respect. The silent gratitudes of hundreds of patients with the IOL twinkling in their eyes is enough to warm the coldest of hearts. Many years ago, or 20 years ago to be precise, in 1999, we ophthalmologists and governments took a pledge to work towards eliminating preventable blindness. We call this the Vision 2020. In 2013, the World Health Assembly adopted universal eye health with an aim to reduce the prevalence of avoidable visual impairment by 25% by 2019, which is compared to the prevalence in 2010. India, which incidentally is all of us here sitting in this hall, has been very successful in raising its cataract surgical rate from just 700 in 1981 to 6,000 in 2017 and has come very close to clearing the backlog. So I must congratulate each and every one of us in achieving this. Our prevalence of blindness has come down from 5.3 to 2.55, visual impairment, sorry, and blindness from 0.68 to 0.36. So do we sit back on our laurels of what we have achieved? Is that enough? Having a fair grip on cataract blindness, the bread and butter of almost every ophthalmologist sitting here, where are we headed now? Who Vadis? Because already we seem to have cleared the biggest hurdle of cataract blindness. We are aware that every 5 years, almost 30% of our knowledge gets changed or updated. So virtually every 15 or 20 years, do we have to redo our entire ophthalmology? And are we updating ourselves? In the morning lecture, we saw MIGS. In the US today, glaucoma procedures, 50% or more is micro-invasive glaucoma surgery. Only less than 50% is trabeculectomy. So are we updating ourselves? Things definitely change. And 20 years ago, when I was doing my ophthalmology residency, our professor was not too insistent on taking consent for cataract surgery. The rationale was that there is no other cure for cataract that is proven. So if the patient is admitted with a diagnosis of cataract on his case sheet, it is implied consent that he or she is willing for and has submitted to surgery. Today, we have more than 40 different kinds of consents for every procedure, including the local language. So that makes it 80. And to top it all off, we have consents, video consents and audio consents for high-risk cases, consents for changing the government scheme. If an Arogyasri patient wants to pay for his surgery, we have to take a video consent saying that I, in my consciousness, do reject Arogyasri and I'm paying for my surgery. So change need not only be scientific. Laws, legal aspects, and attitudes towards care also changes. So what are the future goals of our own endeavors? The 2019 survey has a task cut out for us. We are performing currently over 66 lakh eye surgeries, cataract surgeries per year in India today. The pandemic has set us back and added to the backlog again. The population above 50 is still 268 million, and 1.99% of these people are cataract blind. That approximately is 35 lakhs 27,000 cataracts still to be done. And these are not the early cataracts. These are cataract blinding cataracts whose vision is less than 3/60. At the current rate of 66 lakhs, that will take another 7 years. And during these 7 years, more will get added. Just 1 year of the pandemic has seen our cataracts clinics filled with mature cataracts and hypermature cataracts. Imagine what 7 years would do. So it still calls for a further augmentation of capacity. Most NGOs today are working maximum to their capacity, and a physical infrastructure will take a couple of years to kick in. A big boost can be achieved by allowing the process to be more democratic. APOS has done a wonderful job convincing the government to reduce the bed strength from 50 in other specialties to 20 for ophthalmology. So this has made more clinics accessible to this. Arogyasri empanel eye hospitals. We have to advocate now the conversion of cataract surgery into a daycare surgery from inpatient. Because we have seen that each patient will spend close to 2 to 3 days, sometimes 4, because of the admission and discharge processes. The patient surgery is still the same, 15 or 20 minutes. As all the patients are staying there, it can potentially open up each and every ophthalmologist to take part in this great effort, because he doesn't need to have 20 beds if you convert it to a daycare surgery. Overnight, we will be doing 3 times the current number of surgeries that we are doing. I could not gather formal data, but probably 30% of the 18,000 ophthalmologists in India are not doing surgery at all. So when you open up this and they can start operating themselves. In this obsession with numbers, we are overlooking the quality of surgery. Are we? Because we need to pay more attention. Today, cataract surgery complication-related blindness seems to have overtaken retinal disease and glaucoma as a cause of blindness. Next to cataract, over 50, the second most cause of blindness is cataract surgery-related complications. So it is not enough if you just cut open and put the lens somewhere. You have to do it with a sense of purpose. You have to do it to the best of your ability. The other magnitude that we have is refractive errors, uncorrected refractive errors. Though some governments have started ambitious projects in the pandemic, acted as a major speed bump. From what I have seen and participated in this, again, the focus has been on numbers, and that is the worrying aspect. One cannot forever be in the campaign mode. It leads to exhaustion. And the digital age has led to a mini explosion of myopia. Again, not yet quantified because no survey has been done. The pandemic is still haunting us. What is needed is demand generation by regular, annual or biannual health checkups in all schools, government, private, aided, unaided, anything, and to a link up to the local vision center. Diabetic eye disease is another problem which is about to eat into the nation's health, into the nation's costs and productivity. Today, there are about half the number of known diabetics still walking around incognito, unaware that they are diabetics. 60% of those people are not in glycemic control at all. And approximately 90% of them have never had a retinal examination. So the challenge is to sensitize patients and physician friends to refer the patients for periodically checkup. But this has obviously not worked since 1999, since Vision 2020 came into the picture. So what happens next? It is important for governments, and we should realize this. We are in ophthalmology. So if we don't solve ophthalmology problems, the government will take its own high-handed measures. Because the population which is visually challenged, the productivity is down 30%. They are more dependent on the handouts by the government. Improving their vision increases people's income by approximately 25%. So you think it's just a simple cataract surgery that you're doing, but to a poor man, he goes back to earn and he's able to work and he earns 25% more to the family. So the government obviously wants to decrease its own costs. So if we do not do our duty, the initiative gets transferred to the government, and technology is being developed and is in an advanced stage, ready to be deployed within a decade. Imaging systems and artificial intelligence can today predict from a single photograph the HbA1c levels up to closer to 1% of the actuals. It can predict referable DR, and the consistency with which the artificial intelligence can refer a DR patient is much more than a human retinal surgeon. A retinal person who has done 10 years of study, both MBBS, MS, and retina fellowship, the consistency with which the computer and artificial intelligence can say that this person needs intervention is far more consistent than the human mind. So are we going to see a future of kiosks where a person can go for a retinal scan, take a couple of minutes, and come back with a report that has his diabetic retinopathy status, his glaucoma risk status, Alzheimer's risk status, a quantifiable CVA risk, and if you throw in an OCT-based angiography there, he'll also get a predictive factor, whether he will develop CNVM in the next 2 years. You can also get his cataract density. And the final resource required to run this kiosk is probably solar power for the electricity, a 5G connectivity, and a 10th pass technician to hold his head. So are we making ourselves redundant? So in taking this logical progress of technology, You might soon have a robo which can do a PRP, multi-spot PRP. It can also recognize that this is a treatable DR. And the ophthalmologist will then be relegated to taking the consent form in vernacular, if you please. So will technology turn from an enabler to a disruptor? Only time can tell. Is our ophthalmology training adequate to cope with these radical changes and challenges that we are going to face? Changing perspectives of eye care and who is going to deliver this eye care? Are we too busy decreasing blindness burden, not able to predict the deluge or tsunami that we possibility will see in our very own lifetime? This ambivalence is quite unsettling. And it's time to have an open discussion on where we are heading as ophthalmologists. Quo Vadi, ophthalmology. I leave you, I hope, with more questions than answers. For it is up to us to understand, analyze, and come to our own well-reasoned conclusions. Krishnamurti famously declared in the 20s, the truth is a pathless land. We'll find our own form and find our own path. Hopefully, we will be satisfied at the end of it that I have made this my own one life count for the sake of humanity. Thank you.
जीवी के पास
Thank you, Dr. Sudhakar.